Hello and welcome to the Feminine Millionaire Show. I'm your host, Polly Alexander. I'm a success coach, healer, creative and future millionaire. If creating money and success in a spiritual and feminine and joyful way is your goal, this show is for you. Let's all rise together. Hello and welcome to the Feminine Millionaire Show. Today is a very special episode that's close to my heart, interviewing someone that's become a dear friend, but also is a huge inspiration. On today's show, we have Lana Love, the creator and founder of the Passion brand of healthy cafes and restaurants in Ibiza. It's actually one of my favorite places to eat. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll no doubt have seen the Passion Delights on there. And I know many of you have visited Ibiza and been to the cafe. So I'm really excited to welcome you to the show today, Lana.
Oh my God, thank you so much for having me. And might I say, you're also my biggest inspiration. So I'm very happy to be on your podcast. And thank you for being such a fan. I think we are mutual fans. I think I'm a fan of yours and you're a fan of me. So that's amazing.
It's always awesome to be around other inspiring women, I think. Actually, before we dive in, I just have to say that living near a passion was actually on my vision board. So it was about 8 years ago, and I was making over my life after I went through a stage of losing a lot of things in my life. And I decided what would be true quality of life. And I realized it was to live near a passion cafe and be able to go there every day. So I put it on the vision board. I ended up manifesting it, as you might know, and ended up, this is in another podcast episode, I'll link it in the show notes, ended up living next door to the Passion in the marina in Ibiza. And I got to eat there every day. And it was a dream.
Oh my God. You know, like when I hear stories like that is sometimes for me like why I do all of this, why I still keep going, because to actually realize this thing that I have, created, that people around the world or living here in Ibiza have stories like that. I have people actually telling me, yeah, we have decided to rent an apartment here just because, Passion is here, or we come to Ibiza as a holiday place because we can eat in Passion. There's a lot of stories, people have met in Passion and they have babies now. So there is just like so much, but it's these stories like yours right now. It's really kind of towards my heart. There is a business, of course, and this is my livelihood and everything else, passion above anything else. But it's a story like this. So yeah, thanks for sharing.
You're welcome. I think food is so pivotal to our quality of life and how we feel and our well-being, that the more we can pay attention to it and the more we can support ourselves with amazing food, the better we're going to feel.
Totally. And I also kind of have a feeling it's something that one needs to kind of really listen to itself. We are bombarded in the last X amount of years that even though it's a healthy lifestyle has, come on the market, from avocado toast and green juices and superfoods and onwards. And there is so much information out there. And I think it can be kind of very overwhelming to actually realize, what is healthy or not. Like even me, myself, I'm still sometimes questioning things. So the most important thing is to, listen to yourself and to your gut. There is no good or bad food. There is a good food for you or a bad food for you. But it's really great that we have in the last 10 or 15 years realized how much nutrition and diet is important. I like to call food like as an information. It's not just like a food, like every food have an information. I go sometimes to a restaurant or I eat something out and I'm like, information in that food. It was not good for me. So for me, everything is about information.
Yeah.
Food. Yeah.
Yeah, and you've really been on this journey. So you're celebrating the 20th anniversary this year.
Yes, oh my God.
Of your brand and your concept.
Yes.
But let's rewind back to the beginning. So you grew up in Croatia.
Yes.
Do you think your upbringing influenced your desire to do this? Or do you think that was unrelated? I'd love you to share a bit about how you started.
If I would look like at the black and white, I don't think like it have influenced it, but I think the seed was there, maybe from the very beginning. I just never knew I had it. I had other dreams. I had other aspirations. People tell me these days, oh my God, it must be so amazing for your dream to come true, to have all of these cafes and everything else. And I'm like, this was never a dream. It's a freaking nightmare. 5 cafes, restaurants, 100 employees, like, oh my God, the pressure of keeping my healthy crown and all the rest. But yeah, it's never a dream. But I always keep saying, God, universe, recognize that, thing in me that this would ought to be like a good at. And we as a Croatians, we are feeders, when you come to passion, the size of the portion, that's the number one thing. We are very much about quality of the food. I grew up on literally 100% organic food, nothing was processed, everything was natural. So I think the combination of where I come from, when you come into passion, I want to feel like at home. I want to like be engaged. Like in the very first days, we had this like cabinet that looked maybe something like you'd be in your grandmother's house, and communal tables and a lot of inspirational signs. And it was just like that my customer, when they come to my house, feel as home, because this is what we do. In Croatia, when you go to someone's house, you don't get a cup of tea. Like, you are fed and then you're rolled out, that is the nature. So I think I have definitely brought that into the business, and also like, quality of the food and abundance, those kind of qualities, shall we call them, or customs, they're like engraved in me. So I think there is people out there that love passion. Yeah. Thanks, Croatia. My Croatian roots.
So it's like the Croatian values.
Yes.
Roots are present.
Yes, exactly.
You were originally planning to be an actress. That was your first dream.
Yes, it was. I mean, before kind of that dream came, as a small, girl, you had a different kind of dreams and aspirations. But when I was in London, I was actually studying at the London College of Fashion, hair and makeup design. And then when I finished the school, I actually realized I want to be like in front of the cameras. And I don't know, it's just like I just had that feeling that this is kind of what I would really love to do. Never acted in my life before. I went and auditioned for the drama theater. It was a theater studies, like amateur theater studies. And I got in. So I did a couple of year course, was a part-time course. And then I auditioned for all the top drama schools in London. And I actually got in to top 3 drama schools. And, that was it. It was the only place that I ever would be or sit in a room where I feel like I really belong. And I have to tell you honestly, all of my life, all the places that I have been, and my business at the moment, when I really reflect back, where was the only time that I really felt, this is where I belong? It was in that acting room. So, I could not afford the fees. I was living in London on my own. There was not even an option to even have a part-time job. So I just couldn't afford it. So I was thinking, okay, let me go open a summer business. Coming from Croatia, going down the south coast, I will see places work a lot. In the summertime, they will make the money. And then in the wintertime, they'll be covered. Yeah, whatever. It took me only 10 years, to be overnight success and to actually start making proper money, with passion. And by the time I was just deep into it and much older. And
So, yeah, let's go back to those first few years of starting the business. I mean, the statistics say 90% of businesses fail in the first 3 years. How did you keep going?
You know what? I almost did because I actually did start with the healthy concept. Now we have to rewind to 2002. It's 20 years ago. And we also feel maybe these days, the matcha and grape juice and avocado toast and superfoods, they've been around forever. But if you really think about it, they have been really presently around, not even a full 10 years. So when I started with it, it was really, really slow process because people just didn't get what I was doing. People asking, what's quinoa? What's oat milk? Is that a milk with added oats? Oh my God, when I brought the superfoods, that was the reason why I started in a passion magazine, just to explain people what's quinoa, what's matcha, what's acai. It was crazy. People didn't know nothing about it. A lot of even my current customers that admitted that all of those things they have first time, tried in passion. But of course, it was a new thing and people will, see the menu or maybe a pass by and whatever. So it did take a long time. But also I think I attribute to me being Croatian, like I don't give up. I keep going and I keep like forcing. And at the end of the day, everything I had, everything I own, it was in these places. So maybe even a couple of times when I was just thinking, I just can't do this anymore. I was working 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, 6 months with no days off. It was just, blood, sweat and tears. So anybody looking at me now these days, it's a thing like, oh, lucky. Passion was really based on a very, very hard determination and just a really extremely like a hard work. Mm-hmm. And then obviously businesses like passion started inspiring people. Everybody was starting to get hooked up on this, this kind of food and drinks. And then it just kind of slowly like took off.
So educating your customers, like I hear just bringing new things and introducing them to people, like the resilience and determination.
Yeah, that was that. I mean, sometimes when I talk about these things, I never want to kind of come across like saying arrogant and, oh my God, I invented things or I did that. But the truth is, like, passion was first in Ibiza to do green juice, to do avocado toast, to do the matcha lattes or turmeric lattes, superfoods. When I brought the superfoods, like no one health food shop had it. Only in Whole Foods in London, you could get even just a small samples of maca or something. And I went to all of the health food shops here and I told them, listen, guys, you have to get goji berries, you have to get maca, you have to get a ham. And they were just looking at me blank, like, oh my God, Lana and her stuff, Next year, they had a little pouches, Mm-hmm. So it really started like that. I was very much influenced, I have to say, by David Wolf. I would always give him all of my credit. And so much few years ago, I invited him to Ibiza to be my guest because I really kind of learn a lot from him. And in those days, there was not much like Instagram or Facebook. I have just discovered his book on Amazon. It was called like Top 10 Superfoods. And was it like a geeky guy with like this curly hair looking like a madman on a car? I was like, what does he know? And then I got that book and I just remember like reading it. And it was just like, oh my God. He was like one of those catalysts that just opened something in me. And, of course, before that, passion had the juices and a lot of stuff, but like a real like superfood things and nutrition and all of that, it was very much, his school. And I was like always really kind of being like grateful for him for that. This is, we are going back to that now. We're talking 2007 or 2008 when I kind of just, got that book and it was a revelation to me. Yes.
It's amazing how we discover these resources, these books or these mentors or teachers, and they come along at the right time.
How they say when student is ready, the teacher appears. So, and I always have the interest in that. I remember the first time, it was in 1992 after I came out from the war. My sister-in-law, she took me to a macrobiotic restaurant in Zagreb, and it was the first time in my life that I ate tofu, and there were these cakes without dairy or sugar, and there were seaweeds, and I was I remember that moment was also I was just struck with a little arrow, Cupid arrows.
Cupid arrow,
it was also I was what is this? I could have just eaten the place, go out and said, oh God, that was average, and just forget it. But I was just so intrigued. So just naturally, when people say you're lucky, I always keep saying, I think the only luck for me in this business was that so many years ago, in early 90s, I started to fall in love with anything that was going towards that way. If there was a place in London that was just selling a plate of vegetables and called vegetarian, I'd be like, I'm in, So I think a lot for me was to start with this healthy concept so many years ago when nobody was doing it. And then this concept after 10 years becoming very popular. And by that time, I had a very strong base, had a following. People love what I'm doing. So I would say the only luck thing was that I naturally went in that direction.
So you followed your curiosity and your interest and your passion.
Yes. So that was lucky that in 2002, I put on my t-shirts healthy. I think that is the luck. That's what I said. That is the luck. The rest is what we said. A lot of hard work.
I mean, I would argue that it's luck. I would say it's following your intuition and your creativity.
Yes.
It's easy to have an idea. It's another thing to actually take action and make it happen.
Yes. And I just did everything really with just so much passion. I remember every time I would create a new smoothie or put something new on the menu. I remember when we just put avocado toast. It was like a revolution in Ibiza. It was just crazy. Like, those days were so exciting because there was nothing like it. I had people from all over the world come and say, there is nothing like it. In London, in Paris, people come and say, please come and open places in here. Imagine in those days, the only place in the whole freaking Europe that had it, it was this tiny little cafe in a place in Bosa. And then after 10 years, when I opened a marina. But I also remember how exciting those days are. They were really hardest for me because I worked so hard and I was starting so many things and it was a real challenge. But at the same time, it's not going back on them because these days it's very difficult now to get something that is like, that you gets like so excited about,
Yeah, because it was new and fresh.
It was so new and fresh and everybody was like, what's this? What's that? It was just like, I remember when I brought matcha. People coming and when I heard it was good for weight loss, I had all these women coming, where can you buy? So I was importing matcha from London and selling to the people. And I would write about chaga and it will come to passion. Where can you buy chaga? And I was like, well, I've thought about it. I'm not like a distributor, People were so hungry for it. Everything was new. The recipes, like when I did the passion magazine, oh my God, they were flying. People were keeping them. I will have people to these days tell me, I still have all of your passion magazine. Passion magazine was not a magazine that you pick up and you throw away. It was something you treasure, so that was exciting.
So let's talk about managing people and a team.
Oh God.
Share with the listeners how many people you have working for you now.
I think in the last couple of years, it's like around between 75 and 85. My top peak was, I think, in 2017 or 18 when I had 7 locations. I think we had over 120.
If you were talking to someone else that's growing their team, what are 3 tips you'd give them about managing a team? Because you must have learned a ton along the way.
I have to say that I'm still learning and I did so many things myself. It's only literally in the last couple of years and especially this year that I have really kind of empowered people, let's say like my operational manager and my head chef. They have been with me now for 4 or 5 years, but I really needed to get to the point that I really know that I can kind of let them go. And all I can really say this year is the moment I have really empowered these people, the moment I have really said, I trust you and I trust some of your decisions. And I also trust to listen to you and maybe even sit down and talk. Yeah, I'm the owner of the company. Okay, I'm the boss, but I still will appreciate the input because people want to be heard. They don't want to be kind of just a number and just tell everything what they need to to do and somebody just breathing down the neck. They need that, you're giving them some space to prove themselves. So I think that was the biggest thing. And very often, of course, money is always a stimulation, but interestingly enough, it's not the biggest stimulation.
What would you say people are looking for?
I think they would like to be seen. They like to be acknowledged. Lots of them, they like structure as well. And in Ibiza, it's quite difficult to give people the structure. You start season with offering certain things, and then not because you did something, the staff, somebody left, somebody didn't come, somebody went partying. So you need to ask this other person, can you pick up the shift and stuff like that. But in general, what we really, really did try to do is to give people that, we have a specific rotas, people know where is their day off, they know more or less when they're going to finish their day. Because not everybody really these days, especially after 2 years of COVID, people don't really want to work as much anymore. They have actually realized, there is other things than working 7 days a week and just fighting for money. People appreciate being able to go for a dinner or to the beach or be with somebody they love and have a day off together with them. So if you give that to people or you do your best to give that to them, that is sometimes more important to them than making more money. So, structure is very, very important. And, and also a lot of people, they also like the stability, especially now here in Ibiza, everything is just seasonal. So you have people that live here, they have a family, so they really appreciate it. They know they can have a full-time job, they can have a normal life because we know how things in Ibiza, everything is transitional. And more people are settling down here, making their home in here, and they just want to have a stability.
If you were to describe yourself, how you are as a woman in business, what 3 words would you use?
Well, the first thing is the determination. There is one word that is not the perfect one to use, and it's the one that I'm a perfectionist, and no such thing doesn't exist, but I'm striving towards it like as much as possible. And I'm definitely a fighter. I fight. I think I was a Xena warrior princess in a previous life.
I love that. Let's talk about you as a woman. What would you say running your own business and running a really successful business has brought you personally?
Definitely financial stability. And if I may also kind of say finally, because it has been many years, Ibiza is a seasonal island. So very often the money making a summer, it will be to survive the winter. So it was like being a hamster, for so many years. And then it came a period of time that I was just about to take off. And then the whole pandemic thing happened. And I was like, really? Are you kidding me? I was never scared of starting all over again. That is a one thing about me that we all have a certain fears. I have a fear of heights and I have a fear of a lot of, I don't know, snakes or whatever. But in business, probably because I survived the war in Croatia, I always know that you can always start again. It's like everything can go tomorrow. So I don't have that fear in me because I know that I have things in my gut and I can go to the end of the world and open a juice bar or something else and start from all over again. So that was never kind of a fear. So this is something that I really kind of treasure for myself. But of course, right now, we had a very good couple of seasons in Ibiza, and I'm just kind of starting to like breathe and have that real, financial security, and also not just security for myself personally, because I like to create new places. I like to open more businesses. So now finally it's coming to the point that like, oh, okay, I have a little money in the bank. What can I open next? So it's giving me a creativity. I need to create. For me, everything that I do is about creating. You take that away from me and you just slam me with a, everyday routine or, just paying the bills or operational thing that just kills me. So for me, financial stability is like giving me the chance to play and to create more. So that is probably like the biggest, attribute. It's nice to have a certain people, coming to you and, telling you also like how you inspire them. I have definitely inspired a lot of people amongst the way. I probably don't even know who, but I very often have people come and tell me, I've decided to study nutrition because of you. I have decided to open my cafe because of you, or I have decided to, I don't know, go vegan. But do you understand? Like it has been a lot of inspiration. And that is something that more than this financial stability and everything else is giving me a real kind of sense of purpose. I think there's a third one that I actually still kind of believe that this is big part of my purpose. I don't really think it's my final purpose. I still feel there is still something in me that is bringing me to my really, really true purpose. But I also feel that I have lived a life of purpose and of service. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I think that we have different purposes along the way. We express our gifts in different ways. And we can do something for 10 years or 20 years and then we can transition.
Exactly.
Or that purpose can evolve and express in different ways.
Exactly.
And I love that you touched upon the creativity being such an important part. I think that's part of what makes you a brilliant entrepreneur.
Yeah.
That ability to reinvent, to keep evolving, to do things in new ways, to keep creating.
Yes. Like you said earlier on that like a majority of the businesses maybe like they fail within the first 3 years. And all I can say, I hope that other people can say, but what I can say even for myself and my business, I feel the passion just every is getting better and better. It's just getting better and better. Like there is just no relaxing. It's only going forward and it's just perfecting and perfecting and perfecting things from an operational point of view or finalizing the menu or, whatever, cooking a chicken in a certain way, whatever it is, it's that is the constant growth. And it's like a kind of a, never ending thing. For me personally, I don't go now, oh, okay, great, I have like 5 cafes, they're working amazingly well. Let's just, whatever. No, it's like, I don't relax. I don't relax. I don't relax. I don't let it go. Even though this summer you could see me traveling a lot, it was my way of celebrating my 20 years. And also because I have empowered my, head people, I had a chance because in 20 years, I never had a chance in the middle of the summer to go. And I have really traveled a lot this summer, and I really have allowed that to myself, because I don't allow myself a lot of things. I still feel myself like it's 20 years ago, or think maybe I'm just not still worthy certain things, or thinking, oh, I cannot afford that. It's kind of that mindset that I have from many years ago. But then I have to a little bit go back and say, hold on a second, I'm the boss. I earned this. It's okay. I don't have to justify anything to everybody. I used to justify everything. If I bought a new car, I feel like I have to justify it. And if I would wear a nice pair of shoes and go to my game with, oh my God, like what my chef is going to say, I'm there in the kitchen with my Dior shoes or something like that, And then somebody told me, Lana, you have to think that, like, when you are like that, you're actually inspiring your stuff. They don't look at you like criticizing you. And funnily enough, that's exactly what happened. I hear they're talking like behind my back. Oh my God, like, they would like to have that, or they're like that, or they're inspired to do this. So once you start to like really kind of live in your own truth and be okay and have that like confidence in yourself, I think your real truth like it comes along, and they can just only nothing else but inspire people. Yeah. Sometimes we are like our own biggest critics and enemies and everything else. So I think the moment you embrace yourself and your truth and just your worthiness, things start to happen.
I'm dying to go on to what's next for you, but before we do, the question I like to ask everyone that comes on the show is, what is true abundance to you?
For me, number one thing in life is the freedom. I value freedom so much. Again, maybe because, I was in a war. And once you are there underneath the ground, with bombs falling outside and, reducing your home city to rubble, and you don't know if you're ever going to get out alive, and seeing things and injured people and dead people. The war is a terrible thing, and I lived through that in my hometown in 1991. Everything that comes after it, and maybe this is also the root of my strength, I always said to myself, I went through like one of the highest and most stressful and the most like difficult and brutal thing that a human being can go through. Everything else now below that is like, I can take it. I think this is why I went also so easy through the whole pandemic period. I was actually grateful for that 1 month that everything was closed. Like I was literally asking for that for the last couple of years. I keep saying, oh my God, if I can just have all 5 passions closed just for 1 month so I can breathe. And I remember the day that we went in a lockdown, my friend called me, it's all your fault. I was like, yeah, I think so.
Be careful what you wish for.
Yes, exactly. And I think also that we also all know, being in that situation, a lot of our freedoms can be like taken away. The freedom is the true abundance. Freedom that the bombs are not falling outside. Freedom. Look now what is happening around the world. That, we can wear whatever we want, that we can, at the end of the day, eat whatever we want, unless we have a certain intolerances or whatever. It's like the core of everything is the freedom. And then health. To me, that is abundance. They say when you have a health, you can have hundreds of thousands of wishes. But when you don't have health, you only have one wish. So for me, abundance is really like being healthy, being strong, being centered, and having a freedom. To me, this is like a number one thing. That is my absolute abundance. And if I can, go through my life with those 2 things, everything else comes along. You want money, you're going to work. You want love, you go on Tinder. I'm joking.
That's a whole other interview. So let's talk about what's next for you. What is next for you? Like, what are you feeling called towards right now? You mentioned the creativity. That's when you feel most alive, when that's flowing through you. So share with the listeners what you're being called to create.
I love passion. I love my brand like so much. But the thing is, I feel personally with this particular brand that I have kind of reached the roof, the top. It's very even hard to like change my menus because people just love everything on my menu. My customers, I do not dare take a certain thing off because otherwise, I'll get a hate mail or something like that. So I really want to go and create like a new brand. It doesn't necessarily have to be even healthy. It can be a coffee shop. It can be a diner. It can be 100% plant-based. It doesn't really matter what it is. I just want to see like a new logo. I want to see the new branding. I want to create some like, new culture. I get bored very easily. And the fact that I've been like with passion for 20 years in the same thing is like, wow. So I need that. And I think I'm coming to the point in my life that I can, allow myself to do that, because my true gift, it really is creating. It's creating a concept, like knowing what works. So this is why in the last 10 or 15 years, when I was 20 years, when I was just physically working in a cafe, I always felt like my real talent wasn't exploited. I need to do the other things that other people don't, because at the end of the day, I'm a creator. At the end of the day, I have created this concept that passion concept is. So I just want to use the gift. I have more of a gift to do like a bigger things. So I'm now trying to allow myself like to do that. So I just hope like, new brands are going to come up. And to tell you honestly, I wouldn't mind, somebody coming and helping me, taking maybe, passion like off my shoulders, operation wise, so that we can maybe even expand the brand, because we have been asked for so many years. Almost every week I get an email for the franchise and this and that. But I'm really at the end of the one-woman show. So, to go further or much further, I'm kind of envisioning that somebody's going to come and kind of give me these wings. Because one of my friends who knows me very well, he said to me once, Lana, passion was something that gave you wings before, but now is your anchor. Because I'm so ready to fly and I'm so ready to do like more things. But just being stuck in here and just managing 5 premises in Ibiza, and we know how hard it is to run a business in Ibiza, I just can't move forward. So it's at the moment trying to find a way.
Yeah.
To go and give more.
And a little bird tells me you recently bought your own home.
I did.
And that sounds like a creative project.
Yes, on a little island of Menorca. And the reason why I love Menorca is, okay, I'm kind of quite well known in Ibiza. I don't mean like, oh my God, I'm not like some famous DJ or whatever, but people like know you. So when I go to Menorca, it's just so great that like nobody knows who you are. It's got a completely different vibe. It's so much quieter. It's full of normal people. I don't know how across this is going to come. And I find it kind of quite refreshing, maybe even reminding me more like of kind of, where I came from. It's got that kind of, similarity. So it's kind of like now like a yin and yang, So I do not think that I would ever leave Ibiza, because I love Ibiza. Ibiza is my home. I literally worship the earth I walk on. I am literally in love with this island. I adore it, and I cannot literally living anywhere else. But having a little refuge on the other island is still in Balearics. It's 30-minute flight away when there are direct flights. So yeah, it's just something new, but something that is maybe more closer to my true essence, because I never really bought into this whole Ibiza thing. From the day when I arrived to this island, I was just my head down and work. I haven't done through the periods of going out or clubbing or anything like that. So I never kind of embraced that side of Ibiza. So I'm always just being like responsible, working, doing my business. So I think in a one way, Menorca is maybe a little bit closer to the actual real and true essence, and Ibiza is just my girlfriend, my playground.
Well, I'm sure that there'll be a little piece of passion pop up there in some form at some point.
Yeah,
I know that you're always creating, so I would be surprised if it didn't. And I hope it does.
Yes.
I also really like Menorca, and it'd be fabulous.
Yes.
I definitely think there's scope for growth over there in terms of the food scene.
I think so. I mean, to tell you honestly, I really wanted to go there and just get a house and go there and don't think about the business and just be like my escape, But of course, being there and then seeing this huge potential that you have. And then I'm a coffee person. I'm a coffee lover, that. And I'm just struggling every time to go to get my flat white, with oat milk done properly. And it's like, I was just, oh God, okay, I got to open a coffee shop. I can't, just for my own kicks. So I think something is gonna come up. But again, not passion. I really would like to use Menorca to do something completely different. And I would also so much love to just honor Menorca So if I would go there, I would really like to not come with something, hey, here I am, come from Ibiza, this is this flashy thing. No, like Menorca's got so much like a tradition and local produce and things that I really kind of want to honor that. I would bring my finesse and my experience and everything else. But, I just want to work with like a local producers, use local cheese, use, local olive oil, even recreate some like recipes, like I just want to honor the island. And this is something like, I think that will make me like really fulfilled.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
There's one question I would love to ask you as we wrap up before we share with people how they can find out more about you and start booking their flights to Ibiza. And that's when you think back to your younger self, and you mentioned during the Civil War in Croatia, what advice would you have for her?
Everything will be okay. Everything will just be okay. Life brings all kinds of things, and good and bad. Everything is transitional. We on this planet are transitional. And my motto in life has always been, after good, always comes better. So when some rug is pulled under my feet or whatever happens, or, or you lose a certain person in your life, you just know there's always reasons for everything. And if I can just kind of go back on that thing, let's say when this whole pandemic thing happened and how many people freaked out, I think, one of the most centered people on the planet, because I had such a strong reference, and haven't had that reference going through the world, that experience. Maybe I would have lost my mind, because I had 5 restaurants, I had like 100 people employed, I had all of my life in it, but I just knew it, that it's going to be okay. I just had a trust and belief. And I just made the best of situation. And I always believe, if your essence as a human being is truthful, and if you're really like good and truthful person with a, honest intentions, things are always going to work out. Things are always going to turn well. And this is one of the very important things that sometimes we have to put this thing aside, like what other people think of us. Of course, I had it over so many years. And, it was like my insecurity for a long time, because, you're there in the public, you're serving the public, and, and you get criticized, and people throw their opinions on you. But the moment, a few years ago, I remember I had this talk to myself. The moment I closed my eyes and I just said, Lana, you throw essence. I know who I am. And that moment when I made that peace, like with my inner essence of who I am as the person, like nothing touches me anymore. And I think that is like a very, very important. And people who are close to me, my family know who I am, my closest friends know who I am. Even some staff with me for many, many years, they know who I am. And I think that is like a very strong foundation, that I'm so like grateful that I have like decoded the formula. Some people go through all of their life and they don't get that. So this is something that I like carry with me, and this is what is giving me that strength. I know what my essence is, and I know my connection with universe, what is out of there, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. I think this is the perfect place to close. I love what you shared. After good always comes better. I think that's a beautiful motto. And thank you for being so honest and open and generous.
It has got me in troubles many times. But when it's for good, yes, that's just me.
Thank you. I think it's been amazing being in conversation with you about your journey. Huge congratulations on hitting 20 years. I have seen so many restaurants come and go over the last 20 years in Ibiza. Probably like 95% of them have come and gone. Yeah. Very, very few people have the resilience, the determination, the quality of product, the consistency of delivery to stay afloat and keep going and keep succeeding and growing. And so I just want to congratulate you on the 20 years. I hope that you continue for another 20 purely for selfish reasons.
I don't think you're going to get rid of me so soon yet.
But I'm also excited to see what you're going to create. I really hear that creativity is at the heart of your journey. And so I'm celebrating everything you're going to go on to. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
And to find out more about Lana, just go to her website or follow her and Passion Cafe on Instagram. We'll put the links in the show notes. Thank you so much, Lana.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you are looking to evolve and become more successful, I offer a free success meditation. You can sign up with the link in the show notes. And if you enjoyed today's episode and it inspired you or entertained you, we would love you to screenshot this episode when you're listening to it and share on Instagram and tag us. Lana is at Lana and Love and at Passion Cafe on Instagram, and I'm at Polly_Alexander. Wishing you so much determination and passion and abundance in the week ahead. Bye for now.